All right, amigos, I'm Jared Definition, and welcome back to the NextDay Nomad Podcast, where every week I will bring you the most valuable tips to becoming location independent. Whether it's talking to other digital entrepreneurs, industry leaders in remote work, or my expert advice on how you can achieve freedom. So grab that boarding pass and buckle up, baby, because it's time to create your life full of freedom and adventure. Let's go. Let others lead small lives, but not you. Let others argue over small things, but not you. Let others cry over small hurts, but not you. Let others leave their future in someone else's hands, but not you. And that's legendary Jim Rohn. And why is that quote today so important? Well, I'm going to tell you because it's important because all over social media right now, all over my group chats, everybody is talking about the tariffs and Trump and how it's just going to destroy the US middle class and it's going to destroy Canada and all this stuff. But you know what? Now, first of all, I should say most of you are not going to agree with me. And that's fine because my opinion is my opinion and I believe in free speech. But let's remember this is a good thing whether we like it or not. And as a Canadian, I can say that this could do one of two things in Canada. It could force us to start actually doing something with our resources instead of relying on the US to produce them and sell them, and then we buy them back at a higher profit. It's a lose-lose situation for Canada, regardless of what happens. In that regard, what we're doing now is a lose-lose. So, number two is we're so lucky that we are the number one ally to the United States, which is why when things like border control are important to the re-elected Trump, we should take this very seriously. I mean, look at how much opioids has affected our country over the last 9 years. I mean, I lived in Vancouver for 8 years and I feel like it's gotten 10 times worse since I started living there back in 2015. And it just seems to be getting worse and worse. And as you go into other cities in Canada, it's just it's an absolute mess. The drug problem in Canada is through the roof. So does that mean the drugs are coming in from the southern border? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it could be also coming in from our ports. Like what he's saying is we need to tighten up our borders so that we can get it under control. So when the president is saying something that's going to benefit society, I think we should all sit back and take a listen. So that's my opinion. And everyone has an opinion and everyone is complaining about this, but let's just remember when everyone else is playing checkers, Trump is a guy that's playing chess. We have no idea what the reason behind this is. Does it suck? Because as a Canadian, yes, of course it does. I'm seeing my country possibly going into an absolute financial downfall, but I'm not going to sit here and be all bent out of shape about it. Because what I actually believe is that you can put yourself into a position where things like this and government restrictions or whatever doesn't matter. You can create a life where things like this don't matter. And after the last 4 years, or during that 4 years or 5 years of the pandemic, I refuse to let the government, whatever they're deciding, tariffs, anything, dictate how I feel about my day, my life, and just go about things and control what I can control and create the best possible life for myself. And that means by going out there, working hard, working smart, making money, being an entrepreneur. And right now, it doesn't affect me because I'm living life on the beaches of Vietnam right now. Yes, I'm fortunate enough to be here and I don't have to be paying Canadian prices or American prices on things for that matter. But I've set myself up over the last 5 years to be in this position where it doesn't affect me. So let's welcome you back to the NextDay Nomad Podcast. I'm your host, Jared Definition, and I know today's topic is going to be very controversial, and I want it to be controversial. I want this topic to be so uncomfortable that it makes you sweat, because I think it's really important that we start talking about these things and why we shouldn't be letting government dictate our life. Trump is doing some really cool things with the United States and their government, like things like he announced today on no income tax, how he wants to eliminate an income tax. Well, I've always said that income tax is a fraud anyway. It was implemented for one purpose only, and that was World War I or World War II. I don't exactly remember which one, but but we've been overpaying our taxes for so long. In Canada, we pay like, I think it's like almost 50% tax. When you think about sales tax, you get taxed on literally absolutely everything. Income tax, income earned, income invested, income taken out of your investments. You literally get taxed on everything. So I think that's a really, really important thing for us to look at. I think it's time now. We're a month into the 2025 year, and I think that it's gonna be a little bit of a roller coaster for the next couple months. We're the beginning of the month here in February. I'm here in Da Nang, Vietnam, and I just wanted to come on here and just say that, you know, we need to stop complaining, and how you can start doing things for yourself is by realizing that you're still in full control. You can let these things bother you for a short term. I understand that. But if you're still relying on a 9 to 5, and granted, I know that some people just love the 9 to 5 and they're not cut out for online business or even just entrepreneurship in general, but you have the ability to change your circumstances. You really do. And people don't necessarily realize that. I mean, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I was a slave to the system myself, but now I've got that freedom where I can travel wherever I want and when I want and just live my life on my terms. So I'm like I said, I'm here in Da Nang, Vietnam, and I just wanted to kind of give a little brief, moment to talk about Vietnam and what my experience has been so far. So first and foremost, I would say that Vietnam is considered a communist country, but since I've been here, I have had nothing but an unbelievable experience. There's like no crime. I haven't seen any crime for that matter. I haven't even seen a police officer or a military official since I've been here other than the airport. Now that said something. I've been here for almost 2 weeks, and I mean, yeah, I've seen, like, I think it's a little hectic on the streets when you're driving, but there's so many expats, there's so much tourism. You would think this place would be crawling with cops to protect tourists, etc., but there isn't, because everybody respects the law here. And now, does that mean that communist is good or communist is bad? No, I just want to say that there's a way of life here. But when you look at the life that we're living back home in Canada and America and other Western countries, like we have cops everywhere. We have we have like chaos on our streets. We have riots. We have like unprovoked attacks. We've got drug dealing. We have homeless people. I have not seen any of that since I've been in Asia. And that is honestly the honest truth. I've been to Bali. I spent one day in China, like I talked about earlier. I've spent 2 weeks in Bali. I spent almost a week in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I haven't seen any of that stuff. Like, I find it very fascinating because here we are in Canada where we have all this police and we got all this like chaos going on, and I just want to take a step back and just realize that maybe we're living life differently and maybe we're living life wrong in our Western society. Like, I don't know. I just want to maybe throw that out there. What do you guys think? Like, let me know, because if you guys think something that I don't see, I would love to hear it. I'd love to talk about it. Maybe even get a conversation talking about it. But right now, you know, I've never felt so safe in my life living in a place like Vietnam when, like, if you actually had said to me 2 years ago, hey, you're going to live in Vietnam, I'd be like, what reason would I have to go to Vietnam? But to be quite honest with you, this city is honestly, it's incredible. The city reminds me of a perfect combination of Miami and Honolulu, minus the drugs, the crime, and all the bullshit. It's literally it's so many healthy people running and working out on the beach, people surfing, the coffee shops, people are working in the coffee shops. It's honestly it's incredible. And yet you're not paying Western prices for food. Like, I just spent today, I had a steak and eggs for breakfast at home that I cooked. My Australian grass-fed ribeye that was about 8 ounces cost me less than $5 Canadian. That's about 3.25 in the United States. Now tell me where in Canada you can get a ribeye or in America for that price. Grass fed. Like, you can't get that. That's like a $16 steak or higher in Canada. Like, it's impossible. So I just wanted to come on and just have that little bit of a rant and talk about that. So, but I think that with Vietnam, there's been so much cool things that this city brings, this country brings. I haven't been able to check out much more of the country yet. I definitely want to go to Ho Chi Minh, also known as Saigon. Want to go up to Hanoi. I know things are a little bit more chaotic over there. You might see a little bit more. Da Nang's not some small city either. It's got 1.6 million people here. Maybe it's 1.2. It's in between 1.2 and 1.6 million. So it's not a small city. There's a lot happening here, but you don't see any of that stuff. And like I said, I haven't seen one cop. But, to touch base on the Trump tariffs, we have the ability to not let government control our life. And what that means is like get yourself out of the system. Like create yourself a life where you're almost ungovernable, where you have a business, you can work your business anywhere in the world. You can set your business up in any country that's tax-free in the world and still make international dollars and not have to pay crazy taxes in your home country. There's only one country in the world that taxes you on global income, and that's the United States. And they're a citizenship-based tax system, which means that no matter where you are in the world, if you're an American citizen, you always have to pay Uncle Sam. It's a foregone conclusion. There's no way around that. But in countries like Canada, countries like England, France, any other Western country, you have the ability to declare non-tax resident, set yourself up as a resident in a non-tax country like Paraguay, like Panama, like Costa Rica, like Dubai. Dubai is getting a little bit different now. They're imposing different tax regulations, and set your company in one of those countries as well, and you pay zero tax on foreign earned income. So there's ways you can get out of the system. Now, I want to talk to you today about how you can start that process, because the biggest thing is your mindset, and how you can start by changing that entrepreneurial mindset to have that shark mentality that you're tired of all this bullshit. We just went through 5 years of a pandemic, 4 years of a pandemic, and it's time now to take control of our life. So 4 years ago, I was overwhelmed with the lack of information on how to start a digital nomad life. But that was because of the pandemic. The pandemic made me think about all this frustration that was going on. And I needed to think outside the box, because I was tired of living in control of somebody else. So I knew that in order to live this life as a digital nomad, or let's use the word location free, because I don't necessarily like the word digital nomad, but like location free, because you can live in one country and still work online. But I knew that I needed new skills. So I took matters into my own hands and taught myself recruitment. And since then, I've interviewed thousands of people aiming for remote work or career changes, and I've built a pretty damn good career in contract recruitment in not a lot of time. But what I did is I focused on myself and focused on teaching myself and put the work in. The amount of hours that I spent teaching myself how to become a good recruiter, and a good recruiter is doing things behind the scenes and learning how to find those people, not just putting up a job advertisement, but actually being a headhunter and teaching yourself the skill of that. Was it hard? Yeah, it was hard. But choose your heart. Every influential entrepreneur out there always says, pick your heart. Do you want to be fat, tired, sick, weak, and broke? Or do you want to actually be location independent, location freedom? Do you want to have location freedom? And in order to get there, it's going to be fucking hard. So I think that we have to sit back and realize that. And I'm so grateful that I've had coaches that be fat, tired, sick, weak, and broke, because those are the words of my coach. And I chose the latter. I don't want to have that. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be a slave to the system. I don't want to be, a slave to the medical system, the financial system, the economy, all that stuff. You can create your own business, your own wealth, your own financial freedom, your own location freedom, but it starts with the mindset. And so when I did that, I'm now running a recruitment business, a career coaching business, and a podcast from Vietnam. And I've realized something crucial simply by landing a remote job wasn't going to offer me the freedom that most of us crave. The remote job still leaves you at the mercy of a company that can summon you back to return to office, or lay you off while you're halfway across the world, leaving you back at square one. So I want to ask, what do you think the solution is? And I know I've talked about this a few different times on the podcast. And that's, we have to prepare for the end of the 9 to 5. And that is coming, again, not from my mouth. That's from Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn, where he predicts that the gig economy will replace 50% of traditional jobs by 2034. Now, what does AI replace of that? Do they increase the percentage of from 50% to higher, or are they part of that 50%? We don't know. But why wait? Why are we sitting here and complaining about tariffs when we could be doing something to benefit ourselves that we don't actually feel the effects? Now that's the thing that we should be doing. Like people are saying, oh, like Trump's an idiot. Trump's an idiot. Trump has got a team of some of the most influential, most creative, most intelligent minds working behind him. Whether you like Elon Musk or not, he is a very intelligent person who has built, he's got like 5 companies that are worth billions of dollars. So they're not stupid people. They know what they're doing. But we just haven't figured it out yet because they're playing chess and we're playing checkers. So now it's time for us to play checkers back. What can you do to eliminate and help yourself with the cause? And that is by start preparing for that gig economy. Start preparing yourself for online entrepreneurship. Now, the reason why mindset is so important because entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And yes, 9 to 5 jobs are still going to exist. They're going to exist for people that are working in science and research or in software. There's still going to be those 9 to 5 people, but there is going to be a lot of project-based work. And this shift is inevitable. And companies are looking to cut costs on benefits, severance, retirement plans, and paid time off. But the one thing that we want, or that one thing that they don't want us to have, that we want, is remote work. Now, I'm not saying every company doesn't want remote work. There's a lot of companies out there that are remote friendly, and I love those companies, and I speak highly of those companies like Apollo, or people that I've had on my podcast, like Skillable or Zapier. Those companies are amazing companies, and they're remote first companies. But how do you get yourself into that position? You have to start learning new skills. So the rise in remote work, the reality is that companies still are hesitant to commit to remote employees. There's still a lot of companies out there. So how do we embrace what's happening? And this is one of the things that I've been thinking about for so long. And when I was starting my journey, it was very hard to find information. And that's why I found that people were selling the dream and not the journey. And I think the journey is the best part. When I look back on my career and my journey to becoming location free, the learning of the skills and getting one step closer week by week, day by day, month by month, year by year. It was a hell of a ride. Even when I look back on my acting career, every day was a new challenge. Every month it was a new challenge. And when you get that one step closer, you actually feel good about yourself. But people want the now. People don't want to put in the work. And that's why I'm saying that if you put the work in, you'll actually have the success because you're putting through the growing pains. You know what it takes to get there. Because if you have overnight success, like some people want, that overnight success isn't going to last forever. You're going to be a flash in the pan. And one of the things that people always say is your career will last you as long as it took you to get there. So in order to get to that point, for myself 4 years ago, 5 years ago, is I looked at myself in the mirror and said, I need to start learning new skills. And one of the biggest things was mindset, because I knew things were going to be hard. And like most people said back then, and they still say it today, choose your heart. Do you want to be, like I said, fat, tired, weak, sick, and broke, or do you want to have freedom? And do you want to go through that hard growing pains and learning things and struggling and hitting roadblocks, hitting mountains to climb? But that's why the mindset is number one. So that's why I started my free 3-module mini series called Mindset to Momentum. It's a free course to start the process. To realize that you're actually closer than you think to having that freedom and starting that business or starting that new skill to get you to the point where you have freedom and you're basically unfireable and ungovernable because you can work wherever you want. Why limit yourself to a local economy or a regional, state, provincial, or national economy when you can now work on a global scale and have clients anywhere around the world? It makes sense, doesn't it? This is to help you break free from traditional work and build a career that fits a lifestyle that you want. Drawing from your own experience, drawing from your own journey to become location independent. So So I want to just say, looking back, drawing on my own journey to becoming location independent, this course is crafted to guide you through those essential steps. And I've got 3 modules for this program. One is mindset makeover. And this is to equip yourself with the mindset needed for success for the digital nomad lifestyle. But let's take it a step further for the entrepreneurial lifestyle. Because there are going to be things that are going to go through that you're going to have snags on, but you're going to want to quit. Our natural instinct is to fight or flight, and most people flight. It's very rare that people fighters anymore. We just want the easy thing, and we want it now. We don't want to put in the work. But that's why you have the opportunity, because if you actually put in the work, you're going to get somewhere, because somebody else is going through the exact same thing, and they're likely quitting because it's hard, and people don't like hard anymore. But let's get back to that. Let's get back to working hard and working smart at the same time, but putting in the work, because learning new skills is difficult. But that's why this course is going to also lead you into discovering your passion to profession, which is module 2, which is transform your passions into a career that travels with you. So you're going to go through all of your skill sets over the course of your career and figure out what skills you've used in every single job, how you can rate those skills, and how much interest you have in those skills, and how much you enjoyed working with those skills. And then you're going to discover what actually is it that you enjoy doing. Your soft skills, your hard skills, everything. You're going to go through all of those things, and however long you want to go back. If you want to go back 5 years, you want to go back 10 years, heck, if you want to go back 20 years, you can do it. So just make that decision and go through the process, do the hard work, and do that self-discovery, because once you do that, then you can align yourself what actually it is your hobbies are, and find out what those hobbies are. What is it that you love to do that you stop doing of your hobbies? What's something that you enjoyed doing as a kid that you no longer have time for? And if money wasn't an object, what would you be doing? What industry would you be working in? If you could do anything in the world, would it be music? Would it be film? Would it be sports? Would it be science? Read a book, or write a book, I should say. There's so many things. If money wasn't an object, what would it be that you would love to do? And that plays a vital role going into number 3, which is the digital business skill set builder. Now, what does that mean? We're going to discover the top 10 profitable digital service-based businesses that are currently thriving in 2025 and thrived all through 2024 and 2023. And we're going to go through every single job and every single skill set that is needed to be successful in those businesses. And then you can see that you are so much more aligned for that career path than ever before. And the only thing that you got to do is look back on your hobbies and your passions, and can you squeeze that niche into those businesses, and will people be willing to pay for it? Is there an audience? Is there an audience of people with money that are in this industry? Are they willing to pay for it? And you just have to do that market research yourself. But what it will do is you will see that you actually have the tangible skills, that you're closer than you think, and that you actually you can create a plan, which I call this, build your skills ladder, to figure out what skills you still need to get there. And then now you can go out and find a way to get those skills. And there's so many free resources to learn how to get skills. Let's use social media management, for example. If you're really, really interested in social media, but you don't have the necessarily technical skills to get there, you can go and teach yourself those things. Do you think I knew anything about recruitment when I started recruitment? No, but I knew how to talk to people. I didn't know anything about LinkedIn. I knew how to interview people because I've done it before in the past, working in jobs where we would do in-person interviews. But how do you find people without just posting a job? Anybody can do that. But how do you actually physically find people and be a shark headhunter? You learn. You learn how to use LinkedIn. You learn how to scope out people. You learn how to read profiles, and you learn job descriptions, and you learn what different skill sets do and how to determine. And it took a lot of time. Trial and error. But here I am 5 years later, still traveling the world for the last year and a half, living my best life. My journey took a little bit longer because I had some snags in the road, but I didn't give up. So, like I said, if you want it, you'll get it. And now, I use these strategies myself. This is the stuff that I used for myself to get to where I am. And like I had to give up one of my biggest passions, which was acting, because I was tired of having my career in someone else's hands, that I wanted to take full control and live life on my terms. And now, because of those strategies, I've traveled 16 countries and worked remotely for almost 2 years now. Lived in the Dominican Republic, which was a dream of mine, for 6 months. Traveled all over Europe this summer. Lived in Mexico. Traveled through the States. Traveled through Western Canada this past summer. And now I'm traveling Southeast Asia, living in Vietnam for 3 months, possibly 6, and then traveling whenever I want, because I picked my heart. And my heart was going through those skills to put myself to work. And instead of going to the bar and wasting my money and wasting my time on consumable things that are completely fake, I chose a different route. So this will allow you to create your slow exit from your 9 to 5, and you can stop complaining about the life that you have, the career that you have, and why you're suffering. And you can create that 9 to 5, that slow exit from the 9 to 5, without having your paycheck suffer, because you can do it on your terms. And when you get to the point where you're financially able to with your business, you can slowly start exiting from your 9 to 5 job. That's it. So if you're interested in wanting to do this course, it's free. It's literally free. The only thing that I ask is that you actually put the work in. Do the work. Do the hard work. Assess yourself. It's going to be vulnerable. You're probably going to want to have times where you want to pull your hair out. It's going to be difficult. You're going to have to get vulnerable and talk about things, but you're going to vision yourself. Like one of my modules with the mindset makeover is you're going to do a vision board, where I walk you through how you can create a visual vision board of what your perfect life looks like, whether that's 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, maybe 10 years from now. Maybe do multiple, but create a life where you create a vision of what you want your life to look like, an actual visual, and then print it and put it on your wall. And I promise you that every day you're going to be reminded of what you need to do, and you're going to want to make that happen. Because maybe you're tired of working in restaurants. Maybe you're tired of that 2-hour commute to go to work in a job that doesn't really appreciate you, and you earn that 4% raise every year, and you got to fight for time off, and you have time off being rejected, and people are still telling you when you can't take that time off. But when you're an entrepreneur, you can take whatever time off you want and work on your clock. So like I said, choose your heart. So that course is available in the link in the show notes. You can grab that link and download it. There's worksheets to go through. It starts off with a 7-day mindset makeover. I recommend 14 days because I feel like once you get into that 14 days, you can start creating a habit. One thing I've learned over the last little bit is I'm doing 75 hard right now, and I'm doing 2 workouts a day. One has to be outside. I'm reading 10 pages of a book that is like a self-help book or a mindset makeover book. I'm eating clean. I haven't had sugar or alcohol. I don't drink really anyways. But when you actually commit to something, it's amazing what the results will happen in your life. So I challenge you to do this. I challenge you to go through this exercise. It's going to take some time, but I promise you that at the end of it, your mindset will be ready to go, and you can start looking at entrepreneurship and what it is that you want to create for yourself. So just remember this. Remember this quote, because I think today it is so important. Let others lead small lives, but not you. Let others argue over small things, but not you. Let others cry over small hurts, but not you. And let others leave their future in someone else's hands, but not you. And that last part, I hope it fucking sticks. And I hope it hurts. And I hope it makes you realize that your future should not be in someone else's hands. You should be in the driver's seat of your future. So let's go and let's get to work. Let's get to work. All right, amigos. So remember, be brave, be bold, and we'll see you on the road. All right, amigos. So I just want you to know that if this podcast resonated with you, or you think someone could benefit from hearing this episode, please share it with somebody, because you might actually change their life. Somebody out there needs to hear this, and someone out there will benefit from this episode. So share it. Tag me on Instagram. Take a picture of yourself listening to it. Head to the link in my bio on social media, the NextDay Nomad or the Jared Evan, and download that course. I appreciate you guys. I love you. Stay safe, be brave, be bold, and we'll see you on the road.